So, hello everyone. Good evening. Today, I wanted to explain about some basic things about Onboarding 2.0. And I think last time I have given you about that if anyone wants to learn Onboarding 2.0, I told you that Employee Central is a prerequisite, right? So, the same way, when you learn Onboarding 2.0, we have some prerequisites that you should be aware about all these functionalities, right? For example, the first thing is generic objects, and I'm sure that most of you know about generic objects because the employee central architecture is consisting of different types of objects, and one of the kind of objects are generic objects, right? So here, that means what do you understand MDF? Because generic objects, you are going to manage, control, configure any of your custom requirement through metadata framework, which is an extensibility platform. So now when you work in Onboarding 2.0, so the generic objects is also a prerequisite. Since Employee Central is a prerequisite, now you can see, since you know Employee Central, so handling of generic objects for Onboarding 2.0 is not going to be a difficult thing. Why do we need these actually? For example, uh, you know, custom data collection. Let us say an example. See, whenever you want to collect the custom data collection, maybe you may not remember one more thing, that whatever the custom data collection that you are going to do, that won't be available or that cannot be integrated again with Employee Central. So custom data collection or employee data collection, that is only for Onboarding 2.0 data management only. For example, let us say parking details. Suppose if you are opting for parking, car parking or bike parking, so you can specify your own choice. So that means what you need to do? You need to create a custom object for your custom data collection for your onboarding. So that is why the generic objects a prerequisite. And Employee Central V2. So Employee Central also, that should be enabled as a prerequisite. And as you all know that by default, recruitment management also should be enabled for Onboarding 2.0. But even without recruitment management, you can also initiate external candidates manually also. It's not like every time the external candidate has to pass from recruitment management to Onboarding 2.0. So you can also manually hire, adding the external candidates manually directly in Onboarding 2.0 system. So homepage, because you're Onboarding 2.0, maybe as a hiring manager, or maybe as a let us say onboardee, maybe let us say as a internal hire, whoever it may be. So you need to complete all the tasks, right? So what, every time a particular task is being initiated, so on your homepage, on your V3 homepage, which is a default landing page on your SuccessFactors system, so your corresponding hiring managers will be able to experience tiles related to Onboarding 2.0 on the homepage. So that is why homepage is very, very important. And as you all know that Onboarding 2.0, when you work, succession data model is very, very important thing it is going to play. Because for internal hire, for your employee onboarding data model, and even for internal onboarding, let us say data model, you are going to handle it directly through succession data model. But you don't need to touch the succession data model. You can directly do it from manage business configuration via admin center. So like, you what do you call as a best practice, when you're going to map a data, from a recruitment, from employee central to recruitment, for internal hire, for external hiring, so you need to create onboarding data model directly through manage business configuration. So you can map it. But when you map the data, as a best practice, you have to make sure the fields from Employee Central should be always specified as a mandatory. And as a best practice, you should always try to specify at least restrictive mandatory fields. Because if you make every mandatory field, and again at the time of mapping, so you are going to experience a lot of errors when you validate the field mappings and all. So like that, if you go and talk a lot of things we have, so you can manage your onboarding data model, and there is a particular section. But here, when you handle onboarding 2.0 configurations through manage business configuration, it always recommends as a best practice. I think it is a personal info HRIS element, a job info HRIS element, comp info HRIS element. These are the best practices that HRIS elements that you are going to work. But even, one more thing that you can also configure a country specific requirements also you can do, like variant fields that you can also map it. And like effective data platform, so that's also another prerequisite. Effective data platform, as you all know that when you work in Employee Central, we have effectively dated entities, some of the objects are non-effectively dated entities. As you all know that effectively dated entities means whatever the system, whatever the changes that you are going to make over a period of time, the system is going to store the historical records over a period of time with the past, the present, and with the future dates. So like that, if you see, I have given you few of the things that where it mostly requires when you work in onboarding 2.0 and as a prerequisite. And you can see there are a lot of things like document management surveys, like your document generation. As you all know that you have learned from our classes that how to work on the document generation. And even when you enable some of the Employee Central functionalities and the provisioning, the attachment manager is a prerequisite, and here also you can also attach some of the files, and you can also enable the attachment manager as a prerequisite for your onboarding 2.0. Like your dependent management, that's also one of the module in Employee Central. And print form generation, people profile, and I'm sure everyone is aware. And you can see here intelligent services, and you can set up this also a business process engine BPE on in UI. So you can check all that, whether an employee is being passed from when you initiated, or when you initiated onboarding 2.0, or any external employee, whether is successfully the employee is being processed to the, let us say, manage pending hire. So you can verify every single functionality that you are going to perform on onboarding 2.0 through BPE engine, business process engine directly on UI. Okay, so these are all the things that I wanted to explain, that which are required for onboarding 2.0 as a prerequisites for your successful configuration of your onboarding 2.0 functionalities, right? So I hope it's clear to everyone, and I hope it gives us some kind of idea for a better understanding about setting up your onboarding 2.0 for a proper configurations. So I request you all go through it, and hope it may helps you a better way. Thank you so much. Bye everyone. See you all again next time. Bye.